expressed during the related show are those of the show personalities and guest alone, and not those of Vic Canellis Media Group, its parent, affiliates, or stations. VCMG Live is not responsible for any content, information, or opinions expressed. User bears full responsibility for their reliance on such content, information, or opinions.
Welcome to Age Well Together, proudly presented by Sunscape Boca Raton. Step into a world of care, connection, and cherished moments. We invite you and your loved ones to embark on a journey where each show is crafted with comfort, compassion, and exceptional care. Join the conversation that enhances the richness of this new chapter in life. For more information, contact Sunscape Boca at 561-680-3600 and let us help you embrace the beauty of aging well together.
Welcome to Age Well Together. I'm Lori Rolad, and we are live here at Sunscape of Boca Raton. Sunscape of Boca Raton is the new assisted and living memory care community. We're on Boca Ria Road, and we are now open. And for more information or schedule a time to come for a tour, you can reach me at 561-680-3600. My guest today is our Executive Director, Jan Bressler. Jan started his career from Washington, D.C., and Jan owned a bagel business.
I did.
Moved to Florida and got involved with senior living. So we're here to talk to Jan about that transition and his last 18 years here in Florida and in senior living. So welcome, Jan.
Thanks,
Sorry,
Lori.
I got a little tongue-tied about that.
That's okay. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you for joining us. We know that you're new here to Sunscape of Boca, but you're not new to the senior living industry. But that's not where your world started. It started in D.C. in the bagel business. So tell me a little bit more about yourself and then how you transitioned down here to Florida.
Yeah, certainly. So I grew up in New Jersey and attended college at American University in Washington, D.C., and that's how I got down to D.C. When I was in school, I was a finance major, and I made my parents incredibly proud when I told them that I wanted to go into the bagel business.
Well, how did that come about?
So I had a childhood friend of mine whose family actually opened and owns the bagel bakery in my hometown of Clark, New Jersey. And we also went to college together. So we had been friends from childhood, and we went to college together. And so he had the idea of, hey, let's go into business together. And so, like I said, I took my finance degree from American University and learned the bagel business. And how did I learn the bagel business? I literally went to work in the bagel business. So here I am graduating in 1988, and in 1989, I am learning the bagel business, and I'm working for dollars an hour, right? But just to learn the business. And
In what capacity did you start?
I started learning right from baking. Like I showed up at 4:00 in the morning when the baker showed up, and I just learned. I was really like a bagel apprentice, and we learned how to like hand roll bagels, so they were made exactly like they are in New York City,
They should be.
As they should be. And we were going to open up a business in California, of all places. Not the place that a Jersey boy was thinking about moving to, but so we went down that road a little bit. That didn't work out, and I decided I wanted to move back to Washington, D.C., and convince some people to invest in a bagel business, and that was in 1992. And later on, a couple years later, we had opened a second location. So by 1994, we had 2 retail locations, and we had a big wholesale operation. And I did that for quite a while until I decided that 7 days a week was enough. And so after about 10 years of that, we sold the businesses, and I moved back to New Jersey for just a short while and moved back into my mother's house. And she said, I'm moving to Florida. you want to come? So I did. I moved down here to Florida.
What year was this?
This was around 2002 or so. So I decided, hey, maybe I'll put that expensive degree that my dad paid for to good use. And I actually got a job in Washington Mutual Bank, which is no longer here. And I was helping people with their investments. And I did that for a while. And then I completely hated that job. Yeah, I wasn't into trying to convince people to invest their money in things that I had no control over. So a few years later, I had a fraternity brother of mine from Washington, D.C., and he had moved down here to Florida, and he was an executive director in senior living. And we were just out one night, and he said, I really think I got a job for you that you would really like. And so that's how I got my start. I literally started as like a resident services coordinator. And
what is a resident service coordinator, and what did he see in you that felt that you would really be good with working daily with an older adult?
I think you have to be a people person, and you have to have a real thing in your heart for taking care of seniors. And so he saw that in me, and I went to work in Pompano Beach. And, I literally was like a liaison between the families and the management. And from there, it just progressed. Like I went and I did my core training, and
What is core training for those that don't know?
So core training is a certification that's required in the state of Florida in order to be an administrator of assisted living. So I did that. And I continued to work in my capacity as an assistant executive director at that point. And then when it was time to, branch out, I got my first administrator job, and I did that for a couple years. And then I went on to a different community that actually had memory care as well as assisted living. And
how did you find that? Because a memory care community is so vastly different than just an assisted living. And we can talk more about those differences, right? The people that are in a memory care, Alzheimer's, other dementias, it's every day, every minute of every day is different. So how did you find working in a memory care community after not knowing about it?
Yeah, so it was definitely a transition that took a little bit of time, because I really was a creature of independent living, and that's really where I got my start. And people in independent living don't need help they don't need care, they don't have care needs, they don't need help with their activities of daily life. Then when I moved on to assisted living, people were a little bit more compromised, and we were providing that kind of care. And then when I got introduced to the memory care and Alzheimer's and that type of care, I realized how much those folks really needed us. And it is an adventure every day for them. It's as you know, it's a debilitating disease. It's very, very hard on families to have loved ones stricken by that. So I found that very rewarding, and ran an assisted living and memory care for another couple years. Then I got called to an independent living, where I was for almost 10 years before I came here to this beautiful community here in Boca at Sunscape.
10 years as an administrator in any community, that longevity is quite something. And kudos for you for that. So what do you think led to your 10-year tenure there?
Yeah. So I absolutely loved independent living, and I had created a team that was rock solid, and it was just a great environment to go to every day. And I did have a very long run. 10 years is an incredibly long run anywhere, especially in our business. And so it was going to take something special to get me out of that situation. I had been there a long time, a lot of tenure, great benefits for myself at that point. But then the owner of our business, Mr. David Mills, he reached out to me on Thanksgiving. I had never met him before. I had never had a conversation with him before. But I was at work, sitting at my desk at Thanksgiving. He called me. We had about a half-hour conversation. And 2 months later, I started work here. And, you know, it's as you know, and you said, it's the newest assisted living and memory care building in Boca, in Palm Beach County. It's gorgeous. The land that we're on, it's very scenic. The building is absolutely spectacular. And I live in Boca. So there were a lot of boxes that got checked. And I also think that working for a smaller company than one of the larger companies is very comforting, because when we need things, it's a phone call directly to the owner, and it's not going through 5 or 6 layers to get something done.
Agreed. There's definitely something to be said that we have the support when we need it. We have the autonomy to do what we want in the building with their support also, right? There's not a lot of red tape to be had or get through when something needs to be done immediately. I just want to talk about the differences with independent living and assisted living. So I don't know if everybody knows, it's not a 55 plus community. There is independent, but there's some supportive services. So why don't you share with me what that is?
Certainly. So independent living, generally, people are living in full apartments with kitchens and patios and balconies, and they are independent. They are basically going back to their apartments at night. They're able to care for themselves, but if they can't, there's always additional help. There's agency help, almost like people who are living in their own homes, but they have some care 4 hours a day or 6 hours a day. So we were able to provide that as well. But the services are very similar, right? We provide transportation and 3 delicious meals a day and a full activity calendar, just like we do here. It's just the people seem to have aged better in independent living. In fact, you know that when I left there, I had 10 100-year-olds
which is remarkable.
that were and are still living there, and they're just very healthy people. They've got good genes. They're on like no medications, and so they're able to live safely by themselves. So that's, really basically like independent living. And then when people need more help and they need help with their activities of daily life, like bathing and dressing and grooming and medication management, and as well as food preparation and transportation and keeping people socially engaged, like we do all of that as well. But we have caregivers that are on the floor 24 hours a day. They might be doing night checks on some residents to make sure they're okay. Where in independent living, we're not doing that.
It's not one-on-one care. However, it's supportive care, and there is somebody here that's 24/7. And anybody moving into assisted living, there's a wellness review that is done prior to make sure what their needs are, that we put that in place to make sure that they get their medications as directed by the doctors. And when they do need help with dressing and showering, we're there to put that in place. The other big part of that is the meals. There are no stovetops. There's no full kitchens. But dining, as you and I both know, is a big social component of an older adult's life, right? And the fact that we provide not only the 3 meals a day, we're very different than a lot of other communities, which you love and I love, that our dining room is open all day from 7 to 7, anytime dining. Not a lot of communities have that, and it's very appreciative. So tell me about how you find the dining here at Sunscape.
Yeah, so our food program and dining program is different than any assisted living I've ever been associated with. I have heard of independent livings that did all-day dining, but the ones that I always ran, they had set dinner times. You either ate at 4:30 or you ate at 6 o'clock, and there were 2 seatings, and you had to choose one of them, where our residents here benefit amazingly that they can come down at 7 o'clock in the morning and have breakfast if they want. then they could come back at 10:30 in the morning and have coffee, and then they can have lunch at 12. And if they want to come back at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and have breakfast again, they can do that as well. And then, of course, our meal service for dinner is like none other that I've ever seen. Carving stations, seafood stations, all types of themed meals. And again, they can come up till 7 o'clock at night and have that. So they don't have the pressure of having to be on a schedule. They don't have the pressure of being in like communal living where everyone has to come and go and eat at the same time. So it gives them incredible independence.
Absolutely. And we'll talk more about that and what Sunscape has to offer when we come back from this commercial. I'm Lori Rollat, and we are Age Well Together.
Discover a vibrant oasis where comfort meets exceptional care. Whether you're seeking assisted living or memory care, our dedicated team is here to provide compassionate support and enriching experience for you or your loved ones. Join our Sunscape family and experience a new chapter of life filled with care, connection, and cherished moments. Schedule a tour today to see our beautifully designed community and learn more about how we can tailor our services to meet your needs. Your new adventure awaits at Sunscape Boca Raton. We're easy to reach and eager to answer any questions you may have about your future at Sunscape. Please call us at 561-680-3600 to make an appointment in person or virtually through FaceTime, Zoom, or Skype. We are located at 22501 Boca Rio Road and hope you'll be as excited as we are to see every side of you shine at Sunscape.
Now, let's dive back into the show and continue our journey toward a healthier and more enriching life. Stay tuned and let's age well together. For more details, contact Sunscape Boca at 561-680-3600 or sunscapebocaraton.com. And now back to the show.
Welcome back to Age Well Together. I'm Lori Rollat. I'm the Director of Community Relations at Sunscape of Boca Raton. Sunscape of Boca Raton is the new assisted and memory care community opened up in Boca last September. For more information or to call and schedule a tour, you can reach me at 561-680-3600. And no, I don't come in wearing a beret to work every day. However, we are here live after hosting a local artist show. We raised money for the Walk to End Alzheimer's that goes to the Sunscape Walk team. And that's a part of a lot of different things that we do here at Sunscape for the community, for families, and also to raise money and awareness for different things that are happening in the community, Alzheimer's and other dementias that are really taking a toll nationwide. I'm here with Jan Bressler. He is our executive director here at Sunscape. So welcome back, Jan.
Thanks, Lori.
So we're going to pivot now that I've shared about my beret and why I'm wearing this. About Jan, I know that you recently had an amazing bat mitzvah with your daughter, Zoe. I mean, what an incredible moment a family can have. So share with me more about Zoe and your family life and your day-to-day outside of here, which is 24/7.
Sure. Thank you, Lori. So I am, I'm married here. We live in Boca Raton, my wife, May Rose, and my daughter, Zoe. And it's just the three of us plus Hunter, our golden retriever. So it's really the four of us. And we did recently have an incredible family moment weekend where our daughter was bat mitzvahed. It was an absolute highlight of our lives for sure. And one of the nicest things was that I was able to share it with the residents here at the community. They were, even though they had only known me not even a couple months, but they were, as you know, we've got a lot of people here that had kids and grandkids that were bar and bat mitzvahed, and they were very excited. And when I got all the pictures back and got to share the pictures with them and my staff, it was certainly a highlight. We've lived in Boca for about 12 years now. We came from Delray. We were living in Delray for a while.
What made you come to Boca?
Truthfully, the school systems, right? We have a kid and not sending her to private school. So we needed a school. We really needed a school system, and Boca has one of the best. Okay. So that's why we settled in Boca Raton, and we're really happy. We've been really comfortable here. It's not bad living just a few miles from the ocean.
No, not at all. So how is she doing in school?
Oh, well, great. I mean, that's the one thing I'm really blessed with, is that she needs no help from me or my wife. So she's a great student and a great kid, and she's the National Junior Honor Society, and she's a soccer player. She plays soccer like 4 days a week, sometimes 5.
So soccer dad.
I am a soccer dad. Yeah, I started as a soccer dad coach, but then now I'm just a spectator, and so that engulfs our lives when we're not, here at work. It's every weekend is soccer, and Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday we're on the soccer field. So I don't know what we would do without it. I really don't. Our lives might not be as interesting as we thought they were, but
I don't see how they can't be with the 13-year-old.
Yeah, so she's she's coming on 14, and everyone's warning me about it, but I got a good kid. She's got a good head on her shoulders, and we haven't screwed her up. So
well, that's wonderful. Yeah. I mean, that says volumes about you and your wife as parents.
Thank you.
This is very consuming, assisted living with memory care, and it's vastly different than the 10 years that you spend at independent. Are they understanding of the needs here that, the people and residents and families need you much more than where you were? It's wonderful that you're so much closer to home. I know that. I came from traveling an hour and a half to, it makes such a difference. But how are they understanding this new role that you have now?
Yeah. So it was one of the reasons I stayed in independent living as long as I did. It did allow me to get home at regular hours. It did allow me to not work weekends except for maybe once in a while. Family concerns were very little. But we all knew, because we had been a part of assisted living and memory care in the past, that things were going to be different, and they got different right away. So, it's been a little bit of an adjustment, but I think we've all handled it pretty well. My wife has had to step up and do things that I normally would do, but I might be here till 7, 8 o'clock at night. I might be in here on Saturdays and Sundays to help with visitors that are coming in, and then families always want a piece of my time.
Yes,
they
do.
And that's a lot different than an independent living. But it's all, the rewards for taking care of people are amazing, and so the family's been very, very understanding.
Well, that's good to hear. It is a very rewarding community. I want to thank you for being here. We are Sunscape of Boca Raton. I'm Lori Rolott, here with Jan Bressler.
I'm Jan Bressler.
We would love to have you come and visit the community or hear more about what we have to offer. We love it here. We really feel that the team members are by far above and beyond anybody else. And you can reach us at 561-680-3600. Let's age well together. Thank you, Jan.
Thank you, Lori.
Thank you for joining us today on Age Well Together, brought to you by Sunscape Boca Raton. We've delved into the essential topics that matter to families as their loved ones step into the next chapter of life within a secure, picturesque, and engaging living community. Take the next step towards a vibrant and fulfilling life. Until next time, stay tuned and age well together.